And we're back after a brief break. This is attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on South Texas Crossfire. Special thanks to the Lopez family, KTMV, Time Warner, 100,000 subscribers strong. And we're now on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. You can follow me there by Joe Flores. We want to take this time to thank our sponsors, River City Hospice, 882-5900. If you have a loved one with cancer, a stroke, heart attack, severe lung problems, kidney problems, give them a call, 882-5900. And also Vasquez Flores Home Health, 881-9922. Call Priscilla Vasquez today. With over 20 years of experience as an RN, she can help find your loved one, someone to take care of them, and maybe prevent a nursing home admission. That's 881-9922. With me today on this second half, I have the distinct pleasure of bringing on somebody who is courageous, running for office, and wanting to be your next city councilwoman, and that's Lillian Riojas. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. I'm very excited to have you on because I always like to see young people get involved in the political process. And also people, they're always saying there's a brain drain here in South Texas. Well, you came right back to be with us. And I want the audience to know about you. I talk way too much, as people tell me. So tell the audience about your background, where you grew up, your family,
Sure.
Everything. Go.
Well, I grew up right here in Corpus Christi, so I'm a hometown girl. I grew up in Corpus Christi. I went to Smith Elementary, I went to Shannon Junior High, and I went to King High School. And I graduated from King High School, and I went on to Baylor University in Waco, Texas. Spent 4.5 years there at Baylor University, and at the age of 22, right after I graduated, I made a choice to come back home. Come back to Corpus Christi. It was a choice that I made, and 17 years ago actually, and it's a choice that I have been committed to for the last 17 years. And after graduating from Baylor, I came home simply because my mother asked me to. My family is something that is really, really important to me.
That's good.
And my mother asked me to come home and help with the younger sister. So I came home, and I was fortunate to get a job here at the Port of Corpus Christi. It was my first job after graduating from Baylor University. And I worked there for about 10 years. And from there, I've worked in some other jobs here, working for private industry. And I've been real fortunate to be one of those young professionals that has had a great job here in Corpus Christi. You mentioned the words brain drain, but I think I represent the young professionals here that want to be in Corpus Christi.
Absolutely.
We made a choice, and like I said, I made a choice at the age of 22 to build a life here and to stay here. And 17 years later, I'm still committed to that choice and committed to Corpus Christi. And in many, many ways, that's why I decided to take my commitment to our community to a whole nother level by deciding to run for city council at large. I think there is an opportunity for young professionals, young people, to myself, to bring a fresh perspective, a new energy, a new enthusiasm, openness to ideas, and add that to the conversation that's going on at City Hall today.
I'm getting enthusiastic just hearing you. That's great. Now, you've talked about your background a little bit. Now, tell us about your plan, your campaign, and what's been going on the trail. You know, in a minute, we're going to bring on Commissioner Joey Gonzalez, 24/7. You've met him. I mean, larger than life. You know what it takes.
He's a great commissioner.
He is, and we're lucky to have him. You know that public service takes 24/7. I mean, you always have to be available. Tell us your plan, your platform. I'm very interested and passionate about your campaign, and I'm sure all our viewers are.
Well, I did announce my kick off my campaign in February, right at the beginning of the month, and basically since then I have been going around and meeting and greeting and talking to people and trying to learn more about the community, more so than I already know, because for the last 17 years I have given back to the community. So while I've been fortunate to have a great and successful career with private industry, that's really given me a great perspective and experience and understanding of what drives our local economy. Also, on the other side, I've given back to the community through issues like literacy with the Corpus Christi Literacy Council, with homelessness through the Corpus Christi Metro Ministries, with arts and culture with the South Texas Museum of Arts, environmental stewardship issues with botanical gardens, or the Coastal Bend Bays Foundation. And more recently, I've been giving a lot of time and energy to an issue that's really, really important to me is jobs. I serve on the board of the Workforce Solutions of the Coastal Bend, which their main focus is jobs.
And tell me a little bit about that, because you know our economy, right now everybody's worried. Tell us about jobs and your plan.
Well, you know, I think, as I said, I've been fortunate to work for private industry, and they are a major job provider here in this community, along with the military and tourism and education, some other key components. I think there's many solid pillars of economic stability here in our community. And I think that it is important to attract new business. We have to grow our tax base. We definitely have to grow our tax base. But we need to make sure that we're creating an environment that helps our current businesses and not hinder them. I've told people I'm pro-business, and I'm not ashamed of that. I think that business is a good thing here in our community. I think you're starting to see a lot of growth with what's happening north of us with the Eagle Ford Shale and the opportunities that that's providing, not just for our local economy, but for our regional economy too, through jobs. You know, the national job rate, unemployment rate right now is hovering at about 8.8, so almost 9%. But here locally in Corpus, our unemployment rate is at about 7%. And I think that the key thing is there are jobs available, but I think what's really, really important that we have to drive home to people is that they've got to get the education, they've got to get the skill set, and they have to be qualified to get the jobs that are available here in our community. I think that, you know, education was something that was so important and always talked about in my home growing up. I was the first person in my family, I'm the oldest of 3 girls, to go to college, finish, come home, and start working and have a successful career. My other 2 sisters, they both graduated from Texas A&M University here in Corpus Christi. So education is really, I think, a good platform to push people forward into the future. And so we've got to get people educated, got to get people graduated from high school and going on either to college, or I think people going and getting a skill set, going over to maybe the craft training center and learning a skill that they can go and easily apply and start adding to the quality of life here in our community. And then qualified. I think there's a lot of criteria that people need to know, and one critical thing is you got to be drug-free. Especially in the business that I work in with private industry, you've got to be drug-free. It's just about safety, making sure that people have a safe working environment. And I think that's a critical component that we've got to talk about in our community, about being drug-free, and how do we continue as a community to promote that so that people can be educated, they can be skilled, and then they can be qualified to get those jobs that are available right here.
Well, very well spoken, and the thing that I admire most is you are Baylor educated, you came down here, but you're also talking about skilled workforce. Now, some of these welders right now with the shale, like you said, are making up to $2,000 a week. If we got those kids, not everybody can go to Baylor, Cornell, Yale. There are people that, hey, I can be a welder. The average plumber is 54 years old. The average welder is his late 40s. I mean, we've got to get these young people out there and say, okay, maybe I'm not going to be a neuropsychiatrist or something, but I can be a plumber. I can be a welder. That's the message that Commissioner Joey Gonzalez with Education is Our Freedom,
that's right,
that you're a big supporter of.
That's right. Personally and corporately,
absolutely.
We are a supporter of Education is Our Freedom.
Absolutely. We have gotten people, and he has an over 85% success rate with people, with kids that people have given up on. And that kind of leadership is what we need. And that's the other thing I'm glad you're bringing out, because a lot of people say, oh, she works for big business, she doesn't care about the little guy. How do you respond to people that are saying, oh, you work for a corporation? You just said what you've done with the community and how you've paid your dues 17 years. How do you respond to a voter who says, oh, she just pays lip service, she's going to be with corporations? How would you respond to a voter asking you that?
Well, I would tell them that I am a little guy, that I am one of that, you know, as a city council person and as just a person of Lillian Riojas, I represent everybody. I'm a little guy because I grew up in a family basically with a single mom. My dad suddenly died when I was 12 years old, and so my mom at the age of 32 years old was suddenly single, raising 2 girls with 1 on the way.
Wow.
And so I clearly understand what it's like to be concerned about how am I going to raise my children? How am I going to provide for my children? what is it going to take to make sure that my daughters are able to succeed in life and be successful and be something more and be able to provide not just for themselves but for and help their community. And so that would be my response, is that I clearly understand what the little guy or the little woman goes through in some sense, not to belittle women, but you know what I mean, that there's people that have gone through perils in life and obstacles, and I clearly understand that. I know what it's like. I think that, you know, being raised by a single mom, and I know there's a lot of single people out there, single moms, and probably a lot of your viewers, and it's a tough road. I applaud those women because a lot of them are having to work and raise their children all by themselves. And I think that, you know, it's a huge task. And I applaud my mother, who through her spirit of determination and her spirit of optimism and just persistence, she was able to see us through and to the other side, per se. So I would want people to understand that I have a background that understands some of the obstacles that you face. But I feel like I can demonstrate that, you know, if you work hard and you put yourself into something and apply yourself, then you can be successful. I think that that's what I've demonstrated. I was fortunate to go to Baylor University and from there graduated and was able to come home and grow a successful career for the last 17 years working for private industry. But I've always remembered to give back, because it's been really important to me, and something that my mom always instilled in us growing up. She always told us, different from doesn't mean inferior to. So you need to give back, you need to be part of the community and share the blessings that you have been given.
And I want to know, what is your mom's name?
My mom's name is Eva Riojas, and actually she lives in Houston now. She works for a school district up there.
Let's get her on the line. Let's call Eva right now. I want to thank her for making some beautiful daughters that are doing something for the community. And your other sisters, where are they?
I have another sister. Her name is Laura. She lives in Houston, and she raises 2 girls. And then I have another sister, her name is Mercy, and she actually lives here, and she's raising 2 girls. So mostly girls in our family. And so, and I think that that's another thing that she instilled in us too, is that as women, to be strong, independent leaders. And I think that that's another perspective that I can add to the council, because right now in the at-large race, I am the only female candidate. And so I think that that's really important to me, to not just be a new voice for people, but to be a new voice for a lot of women that are here in our community and desire to see our community grow and prosper.
Well, and we're going to take a break. You're watching Lillian Riojas, who's going to be your new council person here in Corpus Christi, God willing. And we're going to go to a clip that she has put out as well on Facebook and Twitter, and you can learn how to volunteer for her campaign, put up a yard sign, help her out. Ladies and gentlemen out there who want to help her campaign, please watch this important message, and we'll be right back.
I know we want Corpus Christi to realize its potential. The key way to do that is to work together towards one common goal. I want to help make that a reality. And how I plan to do that is just the way I've done everything else in my professional life. Listen, listen, listen. Learn, learn, learn. Take information, educate myself, inform myself, do the research, and know what I have to do.
Lillian is a woman who gives with her wallet, her watch, and most of all, her heart. She has so much passion in everything she does, and she is a true community trustee.
So what are you getting by electing Lillian Riojas to City Council? Someone who's concerned about her family, her roots, and their community. Someone who will take the initiative and work hard at getting the public's business done. Someone who's a good steward of our money. We have a unique opportunity to elect the person who has the courage to make a difference.
I'm pro-business, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I think that we have a remarkable opportunity to attract new business, but at the same time I think it's equally important that we do what we can to keep the businesses that we do have. Positive things are happening in the community, and I want to be a part of that. I know we have some challenges and lots of issues that we have to face in our community. Community infrastructure, streets and roads, long-term water supply, jobs, growing our tax base, and then finally creating a quality of life that makes people, residents, families, young professionals want to be a part of this community and want to stay in this community.
I asked Lillian why she came back to Corpus Christi after graduating from Baylor. instead of heading to the big city and all that that offers. Her answer, I think, is telling of her character. She said, I came home to support my family and the community that raised me and gave me so many opportunities.
With Lillian, it has always been to run after the right causes where she knew she could make a difference in her life and in those around her. I have every bit of confidence in her that she will be able to do a great job serving this city as a city council at-large member.
Two of my favorite words are community trustee, and always remembering and always reminding myself that the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because I'm serving the community.